In case you can't tell, Marcy Baruch is in the house. And you know, as much joy as that song brings me, I got even more joy sitting here watching DJ MacArthur sing back there and jam out on the drum. Today I'm continuing our series on the season of celebration. With a heart, I am.
Yes.
I am sharing my heart with you with a talk titled, A Celebration of Heart. Are you aware of how your heart feels in this season? In this season of light, this season that so many people say are so busy? Of all the expectations that are there? Now, the first week of December, I shared with you about how we can change beliefs, but we have to be aware of our beliefs. And remember the stubborn Zach that didn't want to change their belief that they learned as a child? And how we have the freedom to change our beliefs, to go with what it is that we know is our truth as we evolve in our spiritual walk. Last week, we talked about the season of light and all the different celebrations that are going on, and how we don't have to be threatened by somebody that worships different than us, by somebody that has a different faith tradition, and that all of these seasons of light we can take truth from. We can understand what is our truth as we look at each of these celebrations and what they mean. This week, it's my honor to share with you how the Grinch Stole Christmas. So let's see if you can find some spiritual truths in this story from Dr. Seuss. Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot, but the Grinch who lived just north of Whoville did not. The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Now please don't ask why, no one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be, perhaps, his shoes were too tight. But I think the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve, hating the Whos. Staring down from his cave with a sour, Grinchly frown at the warm, lighted windows below in their town. For he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now hanging a mistletoe wreath. And they're hanging their stockings, he snarled with a sneer. Tomorrow is Christmas. It's practically here. Then he growled, with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming, I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming. For tomorrow, he knew, all the Who girls and boys would wake bright and early. They'd rush for their toys. And then, oh, the noise! The noise, noise, noise! That's the one thing he hated. The noise, 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 noise! Then the Whos, young and old, would sit down to a feast. And they'd feast, and they'd feast. And they'd feast, 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 feast. They would feast on Who pudding and rare Who roast beast, which was something the Grinch couldn't stand in the least. And then they'd do something he liked least of all. Every Who in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand, and the Whos would start singing. They'd sing and they'd sing, and they'd sing, 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 sing. And the more the Grinch thought of this Who Christmas thing, the more the Grinch thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 53 years I've put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming. But how? So I'm stopping there to ask you, are you more like the Grinch? Or are you more like the people of Whoville? The Grinch had a very limited life. He was limiting himself. He wasn't expanding his life to accept other people. It said he hated the Who's. He looked down on the Who's. He didn't want them having fun. He didn't want them to experience Christmas as they wanted to experience Christmas. He wanted to stop that. From a spiritual perspective, when we understand our oneness with God, our oneness with Spirit, we recognize that we are all one. And we want for each other, what we want for ourselves. That's the oneness. When we recognize that we are children of God and we are unlimited in what we can do, oh my gosh, then we want everybody to have a wonderful life, to have a wonderful Christmas, to have a wonderful Hanukkah, to have a great Kwanzaa. Whatever you're celebrating, we want you to have the best that you can have. And are we willing to do that? Or are we like the Grinch and we want to take away joy from other people? We want to stop somebody else's joy. So another spiritual truth here, the law of cause and effect. First cause, we say, is always God, is always Spirit. And God, we know, is everywhere. And God, we know, is good. So there's always good for us. But are we trying to block that good? Maybe we're the Grinch, and so we want to stop somebody else's good from happening. And that happens in so many ways. So we get to look at ourselves and see what is it that we're doing, that we're trying to steal somebody's joy, to steal somebody's enthusiasm for life. Was the Grinch creating peace and joy in his life? No. How was he showing up? He was showing up with hatred for the Who's. He was showing up as, what can I do to stop this celebration from happening? To me, that shows fear and it shows hatred. And when we put out a vibration, we're going to get that back. And so that's the law of reciprocity, which goes with the law of cause and effect here. So we're looking at this and we're seeing if we're putting out fear and we're putting out hate, that's what's going to come back to us. So we need to be careful, to be awake, and be conscious of what energy are we putting out. It says he didn't like the noise of the children. Well, sometimes I can understand. There is some time where you want peace and quiet, maybe. And he didn't like the feast or the Who roast beast. Now, if your neighbors are in their house eating something that you don't like, are you going to go over and take it away from them? I mean, can you see how absurd we can be sometimes in our lives? He didn't like the singing. Well, I can tell you, the Who would not like C.S.L. Parker. And Marcy Baruch would not be his favorite singer. So we share in that joy. We know that there is so much more to life. But let's see what the Grinch learns. Then he got an idea. An awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do. The Grinch laughed in his throat. He said, I'll make a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat. And he chuckled and clucked. With this great Grinchly trick, with this coat and this hat, I look just like St. Nick. All I need is a reindeer, the Grinch looked around. But since reindeer are scarce, and there's none to be found, did that stop the old Grinch? No, the Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he called his dog Max. Then he took some red thread, and he tied a big horn on the top of his head. Then he loaded some bags and some old empty sacks on a ramshackle sleigh, and he hitched up old Max. Then the Grinch said, get out. And the sleigh started down. toward the homes where the Who's lay a snooze in their town. All their windows were dark, quiet snow filled the air. All the Who's were all dreaming with sweet dreams without care. When he came to the first little house in the square, "This is stop number 1, the old Grinchly Claus hissed, and he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fist. Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pitch, but if Santa could do it, so could the Grinch. He got stuck only once for a moment or two, then he stuck his head out of the fireplace flue, where the little Who stockings all hung in a row. These stockings, he grinned, are the first things to go. Then he slithered and slunk with a smile most unpleasant. Around the whole room, he took every present. Pop guns and bicycles, roller skates and drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorns, and plums. And he stuffed them in bags. Then the Grinch very nimbly stuffed all the bags, one by one, up the chimney. He slunk to the icebox. He took the Who's feast. He took the Who pudding. He took the roast beast. He cleaned out that icebox as quick as a flash. Why, that Grinch even took their last can of Who hash. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee. And now, grinned the Grinch, I'll stuff up the tree. And the Grinch grabbed the tree and he started to shove when he heard the small sound, like the coo of a dove. He turned around fast and he saw a small Who, little Cindy Lou who was not more than 2. The Grinch had been caught by this tiny Who daughter who got out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and said, "Santa Claus, why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why?" But you know, that old Grinch was so smart and so slick, he thought of a lie and he thought it up quick. "Why, my sweet little tot," said the fake Santa Claus, there's a light on this tree that won't light on one side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there and I'll bring it back here." And his fib fooled the child, and he patted her head, and he got her a drink, and he sent her to bed. When Cindy Lou Who went to bed with her cup, he went to the chimney and stuffed the tree up. The last thing he took was the log for their fire. Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. On the walls he left nothing but hooks and some wire. And one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for a mouse. Then he did the same thing to the other Who houses, leaving crumbs much too small for other Who's mouses. It was 15:15 dawn, all the Who's still abed, all the Who's still a snooze when he packed up his sled. Packed it up with their presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags and the tinsel, the trims and the trappings. 3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, he rode with his load to the tip-top to dump it. Pooh-pooh to the Who's was he was Grinchishly humming. They're finding out now there's no Christmas coming. They're just waking up. I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open for a minute or two, and then all the Who's in Whoville will all cry, boo-hoo. That's a noise, grinned the Grinch, that I simply must hear. So he paused, and the Grinch put a hand to his ear. And he did hear the sound rising over the snow. It started out low, then it started to grow. But the sound wasn't sad. Why, this sound sounded merry. It couldn't be so, but it was very merry. He stared down at Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every Who in the Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all. So another spiritual truth. The law of mental equivalence. What are you expecting from life? Are you expecting a great holiday season? Are you expecting your life to go well? Are you expecting everything to work out for you and for your family? Or are you expecting less than that? We do have expectations, don't we? And that creates our mental equivalent. If you carry resentments, you limit your soul. Forgiveness is a big piece here. So what did you expect for Christmas? And what did you experience for Christmas? And can you forgive yourself for expectations that weren't met? We get to choose how we're going to show up in life. We can be the light in the world. That's our choice. And we can choose to be the Grinch if we want to spend our time and energy trying to steal other people's joy, trying to do something to get back at someone, to do something that might harm somebody else, to give yourself a chuckle from it. The Grinch thought he was going to stop Christmas. What are you spreading in the season of joy and light? Are you spreading love and peace? Or are you spreading something other than that? And is that what you want to experience in your life? Where your activity is where you're really going to show up and what's going to be reflected back to you. If we're stuck in the past, then we can't be free to live life fully today, to live in the now and to experience whatever it is that Spirit has for us today. And if you're expecting Christmas to be like it was when you were a child, get over it. Because you're grown up now, and you're responsible for your life. So you're responsible for how you want Christmas to be. And you get to create it. Woohoo! All right. So we can take responsibility for ourselves. We can not judge by appearance. The Who's could have stayed in their house and boo-hooed, but they chose to come out. Their mental equivalent was, we're going to have a great Christmas, and we're all here. Maybe they said, all the presents are gone, all our food is gone, but you know what? We have each other. And so they came and they stood in their circle, the tall and the small. They stood close together with Christmas bells ringing. They all started singing. Now, you may not know this, but I happen to know that Marcy Baruch was in Whoville that day and leading them and singing, Hosanna, Hosanna, Amen. Yes! How exciting. No wonder they wanted to come out and sing. No wonder they wanted to praise. It's our choice. In the Science of Mind textbook, on page 282, Ernest Holmes says, to desert the truth in the hour of need is to prove that you don't know the truth. So when you have an expectation and you know this is your truth, God loves you. Spirit is manifesting through you, and you are a child of God. You have unlimited resource as Spirit, as an expression, and you can live life to the fullest. And then something happens. The presents are taken away. The diagnosis happens. The relationship breaks up. The job is lost. Whatever is your circumstance, your season, that isn't meeting your expectation, you can judge by that appearance. Or you have the choice to say, wait a minute, I know the truth of me, and my truth is that I am unlimited in what I can create in life, and I choose to create joy. And just because this has happened doesn't mean that I don't get to have my joy. And so we can move past that, not judging by appearance, but holding on to our truth and knowing what our truth is. You can't live a positive life with a negative mind. That kind of hit me. How positive can we be? And are we willing to choose to be positive each day? Some of us are a little too serious I used to have a t-shirt that said, "Don't take life too serious, it's not permanent." Some of us don't want to spend time with the singing, with the kids, with the Who feast. We want to experience our own experience and not join in with others. We are social beings, and so we come together to encourage each other. The Grinch couldn't stop Christmas from coming. And for us to desert the truth, what we know for ourselves in our hour of need is to prove that we don't know the truth. So what is our truth? Let me finish the story for you. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or another, it came just the same. And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't thought of before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more. Well, what happened then? Well, in Whoville, they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed with his load through the bright morning light, and he brought back the toys and the food for the feast. And he himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beast. Spiritual truths for us. When we see the light, when we let our heart expand to help others, to be about facilitating love and joy on this planet, to be responsible for our actions, what can happen? We can whiz with the load down the hill. And in case you don't know that there is so much symbolism around us, Linda Sinton created our altar today. And notice, this is one of the Grinch's bags here. And when he got to the bottom of the hill, all the toys spilled out. And so it spills out, and the feast spills out, and people come. When I look at spiritual truth here in this story, I'm seeing the oneness that is God. I'm seeing the law of cause and effect. What we put out, we get back. The law of mental equivalence that I talked about. Wholeness. Wholeness is completeness. Wholeness is perfection and harmony in everything we do. And abundance. Aren't we abundantly sourced? If we open ourselves to that, we have a lot to be grateful for. And finally, forgiveness. In our reading, we talked about forgiveness. Now, the book doesn't mention that as a word. But if the Grinch, who stole all this, was invited to their feast and was allowed to be the one to carve the roast beast, I know there was forgiveness there. And that forgiveness brought joy to the people of Whoville. It's your choice. Will you be able to create joy in your life and in the lives of others this week? Hafiz says, what we speak about becomes the house we live in. What we speak about becomes the house we live in. How will we approach this season? Will you be the Grinch, or will you be one of the people in Whoville? It's your choice. Let us pray. We are so grateful for the opportunity to be here and to learn, to remind ourselves that we are one with that power and presence that is God, that is everywhere, and that is our source of everything, the very life that we have and the breath that we breathe. And so we're grateful for this. We're grateful for time to be together and for time to encourage each other to be the best that we can be, the best expression of the divine. We say thank you, thank you, thank you, God. I release my word, knowing that our lives are blessed and we make the right choices to live the fullest and best life we can. And together we say, and so it is.